Today I am taking you behind the hoop guts on this lovely hoop. This is a hoop from my Inspired by Imagery series, and it is based on this book, A Bottle of Happiness. So I found this book ages ago, fell in love with the illustrations. Maybe I took it from my kids, and maybe it now stays in my studio with me because I like it that much. And I decided to create a hoop based on or inspired by the imagery in one of the pictures. So I did a video on that I can link below. I talked in detail about this, but what I loved about this were the colors and the shapes. And so I wanted to create a hoop right here that is based on that. Not based on it, but based on it with the colors, just the general feel of the picture I wanted to create in the hoop. So let's look a little deeper at this hoop now. Start by first looking at the hoop guts. So you can see I have a mix of threads on here. I do have some of the thicker threads. These are the DMC Cotton Redders mat. And then I also used some of the Wonderfill wool thread. This is the Elena thread. And of course I have all of my beading thread, which is a 12 weight cotton. That's the fruity thread. And let's look further onto here. So this hoop, again, based on this picture, and I did pick a few things from this picture that I wanted to bring into this hoop. So the red of the roses that are throughout here, I found beads at Michael's that I picked up, knowing that I wanted to use them specifically for this project. And so I added those into that. I really liked the patterns on the pears, or I think they're pears or squashes or pumpkins, and just the patterns throughout the book with the mixed like sections and colors. And so I wanted to create like a plaid kind of based on that, which is what I did here. The whole bottom of this hoop is the woven filling stitch. In the woven filling stitch, I added little beads just for a tiny bit of color when you look very closely. There were also flowers along here. So the little flowers on the mountain. I used the Wonderfill wool circles and added little flowers here that I stitched over, and then created the little vines out of the DMC Cotton Redders mat. These are the strands of purple beads, and you can see around the bottle here, I really liked those purple beads, and so wanted to add something like that to this. And that's what I did here. I also have a video that I did on stringing beads that I'll link, and you can see how I string the beads for a portion like that in my hoop. I had found these little bird beads at a specialty bead store a long time ago. I've loved them and wanted to hold on to them for a project. And when I saw little birds on the pages in the book, I knew that I wanted to add my bird beads. They also really match the color palette well. Along here, I added they remind me of like little lights, like I was creating like little fairy lights, which aren't in this book, but it just felt like the right sort of accessory to add. I also had, when I finished all of the beading, I had a lot of blank space on this part. You can see the background fabric through this, and I wanted to do something that stitched it but also kept it looking not blank, but I didn't want it to take away from, I have a lot going on in here. So I wanted it to kind of be blank but still have stitching on it. So that's why I chose the Elena wool thread in the exact color of the background fabric. And I just stitched back stitches based on the shape of the row in each section with that thread, so that it gives it something. It's not unstitched, but it doesn't just look like a blank piece of fabric either. Here I layered a cluster of beads and had an open space, and that's where I added these strands of beads, which have a lot of movement in them and just feel really fun. This whole hoop feels like a lot of fun when I look at it. It feels joyful. It feels like there's movement and energy, and that kind of goes with the title of the book, A Bottle of Happiness. It just feels like a happy hoop. So that is my latest finish in my Inspired by Imagery series. I hope that this helps you to look at things differently. Maybe you have a children's book that you've stolen from your kids and have kept safe and sound. Maybe you have an album cover or something else that you just love the imagery of it. And maybe that will inspire you to create a piece of fiber art based on it. Happy stitching!